Following up on the last video where we saw the difference due to RTSS, I do want to see what's the difference that can happen with actually recording. So if you record with OBS setting, and as I showed you in one of the previous video, OBS has huge performance issues after the June update, July 2022 update. So this was done on the previous OBS just to eliminate that difference. Okay, so there is one recording where the recording has been set to high quality. So if you go into the setting, let me show you. So as you can see, this is the first recording setting in all OBS, which most people will be using, high quality medium file size. The second option here, it is the 6 Mbps recording setting. So if you actually set the bitrate, if you are actually streaming online on Twitch, the maximum allowed is 6000, I think, for 1080p. So if you 6000 is pretty usual for 1080p 60 fps. So this will be 6000, and all the output is in 1920 by 1080 60 fps. On that system, the recording is actually not due to software. This is this system. On that system, the recording is actually due to hardware NVENC. So NVIDIA, the whatever you call it, so it's due to the NVENC encoder. So instead of talking this much now, I think I actually showed it. So let's start with, so as you can see, the video is 1920 by 1080 60 fps, and there is no, this should not be here, downscaling factor on newer update, it's not there. So as you can see, it's high quality medium file size. So the 3D Mark Steam version, latest one, everything is updated. I also enabled the RTSS. I wanted to do with and without the RTSS one, but without the RTSS one, it's, I think something was running in background and the scores are not here. So let's just be contented with this. So this is times by high quality OBS with RTSS. The graphics score are 6784, CPU is 6888 and 6799. Okay. So these are the scores, and now let's see what happens with 6 Mbps setting. So this is the 6 Mbps setting. So this is what happens if you actually stream. So you can see video bitrate 6000 Mbps. I have set the recording to same as stream, so it's basically the same thing. Okay, and it's the same 1080p. So let's see, I will upload all these videos to the archive channel. If you want, you can watch them there. So the scores are 6709 for GPU, sorry, this is wrong, for the GPU 6745, for CPU 6514, CPU, there's a huge difference, and on the total 6709. Okay, I also want one more graph here, so this is HQ versus streaming. Okay, so this means how much streaming is better than the high quality, not the other way around. So it should be D2 minus C2 by C2, and let's correct the formula. So as you can see for yourself, okay, now so if you are recording and you are streaming, the GPU performance is barely 1% difference, but the CPU, so if it's a CPU bound game and your CPU is already limited, this is not a scenario that you will run into. This is not a scenario that you will run into, because on most of the newer system, yeah, as I showed earlier, even the 10500 touch 10th gen Intel laptop GPU CPU, that is enough to actually run all the games. Okay, so the CPU will never be a bottleneck. Okay, in more newer systems. So the 5% difference you can basically disregard. This is the main reason I didn't even want this graph here. You know what, let's just hide it for a moment. Okay, the main thing that we not want to see is actually how, when there is no recording, no RTSS, so how does the game actually perform if there is no recording. What have I noted here? Display, yes, okay, yeah, this has all been done on display capture. The reason I couldn't do it with game capture, I tried game capture with a lot of games. What used to happen was, even with the, not only OBS, I tried the newer OBS, I also tried the NVIDIA GeForce experience. No, sorry, not in NVIDIA. No, the problem was also in NVIDIA GeForce experience. In NVIDIA, the audio was very choppy. I updated it, tried everything. I didn't look further into it. Let this, fuck it, I don't want this much trouble in my life. So I installed NVIDIA. I tried it on the OBS newer version, and I tried it on the OBS older version. Game capture simply stopped working. So once I enable game capture and my game is running for 5 minutes, it might record, and after that I don't know what happens. It just stops recording, even if I force it to use a particular window. So what I expected, what I think is, if your laptop doesn't have a mux switch, this I think is the problem with mux switch. I am assuming once I get a laptop, because I remember when I had the Legion, the mux switch, I never had this kind of problem. Anyways, the point is, display capture is enough. It is working fine now, recording same conditions, and here are the scores, the whopping scores: 8081, 7742, and 8028. And I think you can already see you can already see the difference, the huge difference. And this difference is, and this is the reason whenever I do gaming benchmarks, I do not record on the same system. I never record on the same system. Okay, I never record on the same system. That is the reason all my previous and the upcoming recordings are weird like that. Everyone asks me, what is this, why are you recording with a phone camera, it doesn't look good. And this is the reason. 19-20% is a lot. This difference is a lot. About 20% difference in GPU overall, in about 20% difference is huge. This is the difference, if I remember correctly. This is the difference between 3050 Ti. Let me see. So let me show you this interesting thing. I think you will appreciate it. So GPU comparison chart. So the previous score for GPU time sky, it's 8081. So it's about here. So it's nearly close to 105 watt 3060 laptop GPU. And if I enable the recording, and this is 67, so it becomes almost equivalent to a 65 watt GPU, or a 2060, a full power 2060, you can say that. Okay, so it basically drops a generation, you can say, and not far behind as 3050 Ti. So that is the point I'm making. For the best performance, don't record on stream. If you have to show your laptop's capability, do an external recording. On newer system, as I showed in the previous video, the FPS meter won't affect the game that much, but this surely will. Recording on the same system, I was surprised that there is not much difference between these two, recording and streaming. As you can see, only the CPU, there is a difference in CPU performance, but it won't matter in gaming because CPU was never the bottleneck in the first place. But with no recording, as you can see, straight from 6745 to 8081. The last time I got, I think it was 7900 some score. So I'm happy it's actually crossing 8000 for GPU. I'm very happy, and that is the reason on my benchmarks are done with phone. Okay, see you later.